Hello and welcome to this edition of Eat Right with Rouses. I'm your host, Keith Weisheit, and always glad to welcome in our favorite dietitian, Miss April Sins. Hi, April.
Hi, Keith. How are you today?
I am very well. I don't want to be sour, but I'm looking forward to hearing about those things that are. Tell me about pickles,
I like it. Yes. So it's actually pickle month, which
right?
is so appropriate for this time of year. And so I figured I would go through just a really easy way to do a quick pickling method
Okay.
at home. And, when your garden is growing and so fast and you can barely keep up with it, a lot of times things are popping up so quickly that you hardly have time to make enough things or give enough away to
Right.
your friends. Pickling is always a great option. In addition to that, if you go to Rouse's and you find a great deal on some fresh produce and
Mhm.
you want to pickle that, that's another great option as well. But just think outside of the box too, is that it's not just for vegetables. You can also pickle some fruit as well. I actually have a mango right here because you can actually do a pickling method with mangoes and some of your more hardier fruits as
Mm.
well. Just leave out the dill if you're going to be pickling fruit, but the other ingredients are going to be great.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a really great quick pickling method
Okay.
that you can do. And so first of all, I have some vegetables that are cut to the size of my jar. I just have a regular jar at home, and then I just cut some cucumbers right here. But think about maybe some other things. What about green beans? Those are
Mm.
great pickled. Asparagus, carrots, onions, all those great things. You could pickle those. And also beets too are great pickled.
Oh, okay.
So what all you have to do is take a pot, and I already have some done, but I'm going to show you how to make it.
Okay.
Is you take about a cup of your apple cider vinegar. I have
Okay.
some Rouse's apple cider vinegar right here. Pour that in there, and then we're going to take about 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, we're not drinking the juice. We're just going to use the juice to pickle it. But what I love about this is if you're watching your salt intake and you wanted to use less, you can definitely cut back on the salt. Another thing, too, that we're going to be adding for the pickling is going to be 2 teaspoons of sugar. And
Okay.
so that's another thing, too, that you can kind of do some substitutions as, if you want. That's what's great about making things at home is you can kind of customize it as you want. The other thing we're going to be adding is some garlic, and it's about a clove of garlic chopped up, but I like to use the one that's already chopped if I can.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to use a bay leaf, and I'm also going to be using some dill. You can definitely use fresh dill, but I have some dried dill right here. And then we're going to use the mustard seed. That's those little seeds that you see floating around in
Mm-hmm.
the pickle jars.
Okay.
Now, you can also find lots of great options at Rouse's that are already pickled for you. But this is a really easy method. And then you just put this over the fire and stir it until it starts to boil a little bit. And then turn it off and turn on your vent in your kitchen because it is going to have some aromas, some pickling aromas going on.
Right.
And then once you're done, you're going to pour that over your vegetables inside of your jar. And then you're going to put your lid on. Now, remember, this is not going to last as long as a jar of pickles would that you would buy because I'm not doing a jarring method. I'm not canning it. I'm
Gotcha.
just pickling it and putting it in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
But these are great. This is a really great option, and it's called a quick pickle. And so that you can make it really easily and quickly with those extra produce items that you might not know what to do with them, but you don't want them to go to waste.
I love it. The other thing I really love is that dietitians just know exactly how much they're putting in. So I love the fact that people can come back and watch this and they can see exactly how much to put in. You can just look at it and see what to do. I love that. But it's just the boiling part that they get once it's done. I like the idea that you can just pour that over whatever vegetable or fruit that you want and it
Yeah.
will pickle itself. Right?
Yeah, it definitely will. And as far as the ingredients, it's really easy and you can eyeball a lot of it because it's not an exact recipe because the juices being in the jar and it's just for the ingredients to kind of soak it up and kind of marinate in it. But it's
Okay.
about 1 to 2 teaspoons of each item
One
is
to two
basically
teaspoons
about
of everything.
1 to 2 teaspoons of each item. And then with the vinegar, you're going to add about a cup, but you want to add enough to where it's going to go all the way up to the jar. It also depends on how many vegetables you put in there as
Right.
far as how much it fills the jar as well.
Right. So you gotta just kind of plan your vegetables, plan your jars. And I love the fact that you thought about it ahead of time about cutting those vegetables to the size of the jar. Right. So if you
Yes,
got a much
yes,
taller jar, you
exactly.
can use, a little bit more of that.
Right.
So it's just that
Right.
that perfect
Definitely.
fit.
Right. Yeah. You just measure it out and just add it to that jar. And you can make it, you can actually make it if you add some carrots and some onions, you can kind of add a blend of vegetables in here. And it really makes it nice and colorful. But you also get those flavors of all the other vegetables kind of marrying together. And that's what I really like about that. And then what do I do with this is maybe add it to a salad.
I
That's
was
such a
just
great
thinking that.
option, because it just adds a nice, unique flavor and a nice crunch as well.
Right. So for those people that just love things pickled, so Aaron, for those of you that love it, you could just eat those right out of the jar anytime. For those of us that like it a little bit more subdued, we can add it to different dishes. I was just
Yeah.
imagining the pickled onion and the carrots and the cucumbers that have become pickles now in
Hmm.
a salad. How beautiful that looks when
Oh, yeah.
you've taught us time and time again how to make those very attractive and beautiful salads. And so, what a great
Yeah.
pickling idea! How to boil it, how to get it together, and even cooking for dummies like me is very simple with this idea of pickling.
Well, I'm so glad that you liked it. Thank you so much, Keith.
We appreciate it. Thank you as always, April. And that will
Thank
do
you.
it for this particular edition of Eat Right with Rouses. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more local programming right here on HTV.